Welcome to the Savvy Salon Professional. If this is the first time you're joining us, we empower hairstylists by providing advice on how to grow their salon business, along with tips and tricks that'll save you time and make you more money. Today I'm going to be talking about client retention, why it's so important, how to build that clientele, and reasons why your clients leave you for another stylist. But before I begin, I would like to thank SalonHelpWanted.com for sponsoring today's podcast. SalonHelpWanted.com is the fastest growing website that is dedicated to helping salon owners and stylists connect. You can search their vast database of jobs. You can put your resume up for salon owners to see. And owners, if you're hiring, you can actually post your job openings for free. This is also where my podcast is located. Any episodes you would like to listen to, you can always go to SalonHelpWanted.com. I also do a blog on there that goes over the same stuff. Go ahead and jump over there and check out SalonHelpWanted.com. But now let's get into today's topic, client retention, and we're going to talk about why retention is so important in the industry. So the first thing about client retention is you do have a limited pool of clients, which means that clients will generally find a stylist within a 5-mile area of either where they work or their home. Your clients' friends and associates are also going to be in that same area as your client pool, for the most part. So anytime that something happens negative in that client's mind, they're going to tell their friends who are going to live in that same client pool, and then you're going to limit yourself even more depending on how many times this happens and who their friends are and so on and so on. So giving that client a great experience is going to increase the chances of having more of a client pool to grab from. But you're also going to save money on marketing. And if you're currently not marketing yourself, definitely be sure to subscribe to this podcast, because we're going to go over an episode on how to market yourself like a pro without breaking your bank. But back to saving money on marketing. When you retain your clients, you'll actually save up to 50% on your marketing budget. Not to mention, repeat clients are the best kind of advertising, because what they're going to do is they're going to give you free word-of-mouth advertising and actually be able to show off your work. And that's going to be worth more than any paid advertisement you ever do. Repeat clients also means repeat profits. A client that comes back for a second appointment is actually going to be 30% more likely to get an extra service, especially if you suggest one to them. Now, when a new client comes in, they're going to only be 5% likely to get that extra service when you suggest it to them, because you haven't built that trust value yet. And a client that comes back trusts you, or else they wouldn't be coming back. A client that comes back for a second appointment will be 50% more likely to buy suggested retail products, and they'll spend about 33% more than what any new client would. It actually costs more to get a new client than it does to retain one. So think about that when you're working on your marketing budget for yourself or your salon. And then clients that you've retained will actually provide you very, very much needed feedback. No one knows your business better than your loyal customers. And yes, you heard that right. No one knows your business better than your loyal customers. You need to take the time out and get their feedback on everything from the products you sell to your overall customer service experience. Use the information that they give you and use it to help retain more clients, because retained clients are going to be loyal clients. And then listen to what they have to say, because when you implement those changes that they suggest, they're going to feel like they're a part of your business and they're going to become even more loyal to you. So now that you got a general outlook on why client retention is so important, we need to look at reasons why clients will actually leave you for another stylist. And why is this so important? And why do you need to know this? Well, have you ever wondered why clients who've been coming to you for months, even years, all of a sudden just stop showing up? Or they'll miss an appointment and then reschedule just to miss that one too. I've had that happen a few times. And if you've had that happen, that means that I'm not the only one it's happened to. But the good thing is we can change that by knowing some of these reasons why clients leave their providers. Now, I'm going to say it's normal to lose clients throughout the year for a lot of reasons. I mean, there's death, there's relocation or marriage, which is way beyond your control. But not all of your clients are getting married and moving away. So why are your loyal customers leaving you? Well, I wanted to know the answer. So I went out to the local community. I went to some malls, places like that where a lot of people gather, Starbucks, whatnots. And I asked people why they left their last hairstylist. Now, when I did this, they had no idea why I was doing it or that I was actually a hairstylist. I kind of made it sound like I was doing it for a thesis project. But anyway, some of what I found out was really shocking. And to be honest, the feedback they told me about some of these things, they would actually never tell their stylist. And they said that. That was actually one of the questions. Would you ever tell your stylist? And they said no. They felt uncomfortable telling their stylist why they left. And they just went and found somebody else. But here are the top 14 reasons why clients will leave their beauty providers. Coming in at number 14, my stylist had bad breath. Excuse me. Now, I definitely don't like it when I'm sitting somewhere or I'm anything and somebody comes up to me and has bad breath. So just think, if you have bad breath and that client's sitting in your chair for upwards of 45 minutes to an hour and a half to whatever, and you have bad breath and they have to deal with that, it's a really big issue. So make sure that your breath is good. You don't smell. You have overall good hygiene. Number 13 was my stylist always smells like smoke. And I can relate to this because I'm a smoker. And I've had a couple clients say to me, hey, you kind of smell like smoke still. Will you go wash up? Most of them were pretty forgiving. But after a while, if it keeps happening and they don't like the smell of smoke, maybe you should try something. I personally, every time I had a cigarette, I would wash my hands, brush my teeth, and spray a little bit of cologne on. And that seems to work really well. Number 12, the location was not clean. And sometimes to clients, clean has a different meaning to you as it does to them. You could have the place bleached, sanitized completely, and people will think, oh, this salon's still messy and dirty. Why? Well, if you have clutter, like magazines everywhere, chairs out of arrangement, stuff like that, your customer sees that as not clean. It doesn't necessarily mean that the place isn't sanitized and ready to go. It just means clutter equals not clean. So make sure your salon is clutter-free, your area is clutter-free, and that will help you retain some more clients. Number 11, other staff members were having unprofessional or inappropriate conversations. And this is a tricky one because if you work in a salon with a group of people and one or two people are having inappropriate conversations, not necessarily about anything that's going on with you or your client still picks up on that and they feel threatened and they don't like that. So they don't want to be in a negative environment. They're there to relax, they're there to be happy. So they'll go find somebody else where either they're one on one with the stylist or they're in a salon that they don't do that. Because a lot of people feel really uncomfortable when somebody else is talking about how they've been sick, how they went out drinking, how they, whatever, religion, politics, you name it. So to combat this, what you really want to do is bring it up with that other person privately. Talk to them, say, hey, this is really hurting both of us. Kind of walk them through how it's hurting you and why clients are leaving and you're seeing that. And if that doesn't work, then move on to the next step. Which brings me to number 10. My stylist kept using inappropriate language. Know your P's and Q's. Know what you can say and what you can't. It's not appropriate to cuss in a professional environment or to use other inappropriate things. Talking about drugs, alcohol, anything like that. What you did this weekend. So just watch what you say and keep the focus on the client. Then number 9, my stylist talked about their personal life, their problems, and other inappropriate subjects. Once again, the client came there to relax, to get a service done, and get away from their problems, their personal life, everything. So they don't want to come in and hear all about yours. So like I said, keep it focused on that client and you'll be okay. Number 8, my stylist always gossips about clients. I wonder if they talk about me the same way when I'm not there. This is a big issue in some salons. You hear stylists talking about, oh, Sally Jean started dating this new guy, or Bobby got a DUI. And yeah, deep down inside, they like that gossip. They're like, oh, gossip, it's juicy, it's nice. And you think that makes them want to come back, but they do. They stop and they think after it's all said and done, well, if they're saying this about Bobby or Sally or Jim, what are they saying about me when I leave? Are they telling all my secrets? So keep the gossip out. Then number 7, I feel like my provider didn't value me or my time. Now, some people value time more than they value money. Sounds kind of crazy, but they do. They value their time more than their money. That's why they want a nice, timely service. They want to feel appreciated. They want to feel like you want them to be there. So you don't want to waste their time or not value them. So keep your services in a reasonable length. Try not to go way over. Try not to go way under. And your clients will actually find more value in your service. Number 6, my stylist was constantly using their phone and seemed distracted during our appointment. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a salon and saw that. Stylists on their phone during their appointments, whether it's to make another appointment for another client or their sister's calling. But what you're doing is you're not valuing your client's time or them by doing that. There's voicemail. You can let them leave a voicemail, let them text message you. But you want to stay off that phone during your appointment. And I've actually seen it to where clients were on the phone talking and they were still doing their service and they weren't paying attention and took 2 inches off where they shouldn't have took it. And then they had to fix the whole haircut. And guess what? That client never returned. Number 5, my stylist was always late for our appointment. This is a big one. Because if you're late for that first appointment and you're a busy stylist, you're going to now be late for your next appointment, your next appointment, your next appointment. You're going to have to skip your lunch just to catch up so you're not late for everybody else. So when you're late for that first appointment, your whole book suffers. And then that falls back into number 7, where they didn't feel like they valued you or your time. So they didn't, the customer felt like they weren't valued because you're running late for their appointment. Now, I understand that every once in a while, their car breaks down, there's an accident on the interstate. That's happened to me. Try to make sure you leave in time in case any of these things happen. But there's always stuff that just happens. So if you have an appointment in the morning and you know you're going to be late, always call that appointment and say, I'm sorry, I'm running this late for this reason. And can we make our appointment? And then you can go and reschedule everybody else accordingly. But don't make this a habit. It can happen maybe once or twice. But after that, your clients are going to get upset because their time is worth more to them than money. Number 4, I couldn't recreate the look at home, or the style was too hard to manage. Now, this is all about your consultation. You need to find out what they do at home, what skills they have, because you don't want to do a round brush on a client who doesn't use a round brush. You don't want to put gel in somebody's hair who's not going to use gel. You want to make it recreatable and manageable for them when they go home. So you need to adapt to your client in order to do this. So by asking a lot of questions such as, how much time do you normally take in the morning to get ready? What kind of products do you use in your hair? What kind of tools do you use when you're doing your hair? Do you use a blow dryer? Do you use a curling iron? Do you use a flat iron? Etc., etc., etc. And actually find out how you can recreate that look that she does at home, only a little more polished. Number 3, my stylist never told me what products I should use or purchase to maintain my hair until my next visit. Most clients will just go out to wherever and buy whatever they see on TV that says, oh, this is good for your hair, this is great for your hair, this will make it voluminous, this will make it shiny, and most of it is crap. They want to be told about products. They want to know what they can do to their hair to make it look the same and make it look better even. So offering products, or at least advising them on what to buy if you don't sell any, which I always suggest you do because that's just more income in your pocket, is to talk about them. Talk about those products. Let them know what they need to use and show them how to use it. Number 2, my stylist didn't listen to what I wanted done. So that's our job, is to listen. As stylists, we need to listen to what our clients want. I can't tell you how many new clients came to me. I listened to them. I did exactly what they wanted. And they loved me for it. They're like, oh my God, you actually listened to what I wanted. And it shocked me at first because I thought that, that was part of the job, was listening to what you want to, explain it, talk it back with them, make sure you're 100% on the same page before you start. And apparently I was actually shocked that one of the biggest reasons was that the stylist didn't listen to what they wanted done. So take the time out, listen to what they want done. Don't do what you want to do. It's not about you. It's about your client and making them happy. Now, if they have a hairstyle that they want that's not going to fit them at all, not going to fit their lifestyle, don't say something like, well, no, you can't do this. It won't work for you. You have to actually say it nice. Say, for your lifestyle and what you're doing, this hairstyle is going to be very complicated for you to maintain. We should try something a little easier to maintain. And that sounds a lot better than, oh, we can't do that, or you don't want to do that. So there are ways around, doing what you want for what the client needs, compared to just not listening. So listen to what your stylist have to say, or your clients have to say, and repeat it back to them. And then you'll never go wrong there. And that's going to be the number one way to help build your clientele, is just to listen. And then the number one reason why stylists left their providers is the stylist never asked me if I was happy with my service or if I even wanted something different. Now, especially with your clientele that you've been seeing for a long period of time, they want something different every so often, and it's always good to ask. Because if you've been doing the same hairstyle on them for 5 years and you just think they're happy, one day they're going to be like, no, I want something different, but they're not going to know how to ask for it. So you actually have to draw that out of them and ask the question, would you like something different? Would you like to try something different? Or, oh, I think this look would be great for you. Is this something we could try? And always, always, always get your feedback from your customers. Find out if they're actually happy with their service or not. If you've ever been guilty of any of these things, and I know I was, don't let it get you down, because here's the good news. Now that you know why clients are going to leave you, you can start practicing good habits to maintain more clientele that you've worked so hard for. More clientele means more money in your pocket. It's a win-win. But now that you know the reasons clients might leave you and you decided you want to keep your clientele, let's go over some great ways for you to get that first-time client to come back, and even get your repeat clients to start sending you clients. The first thing we want to talk about is making that personal connection, because that's all this is a relationship-based business where you're building connections on trust. And this starts as soon as you walk in the door, or as soon as your client walks in the door and you meet them for your service. So I got this broke down into a few different sections with making a personal connection with your client. And we're going to start during the introduction, and we're going to go all the way down through. But during the introduction, you always want to smile, and you want it to be an inviting smile, and you want to shake your client's hand and welcome them to the salon, and you want to use their first name. And then you want to lead them back to your consultation area, whether that be your chair or a little room. I tend to keep it professional and simple, and I actually script a lot of my material when I'm doing my consultation, when I'm doing my introduction. Pretty much everything other than the personal interaction between me and my client itself, and the style that I give them, is all scripted. And it works out really well, because then you don't have to worry about what to say, what to think. So here's what I do. So for example, when it's a new client, I say something like, "Good afternoon, Brenda. My name is Micah. It's a pleasure to meet you. Did you have any troubles finding the location of our salon today?" And then she'll answer, and I'll be like, "That's great," or, "Oh, I'm sorry. Here's my number. Next time, call me if you're having any issues." Whatever. I'll respond appropriately. But then I'm like, "Please let me show you to our consultation room. It's right this way." And that's where I actually will take them back, sit them down, hand them a glass of water, and talk with them and give them a consultation, which we will be doing in a podcast on, is doing an amazing consultation to get it done right the first time. But with a return client, what I say is, "Good afternoon, Brenda. It's a pleasure to see you again." Then I'll ask something about a non-hair related issue that we talked about in our last visit, such as, did your son end up getting that promotion he was trying to get, or something to that. And then I'll respond appropriately while we're while we're walking back to the consultation room. And yes, every single time I have a client come in, no matter how long they've been seeing me, if they've been seeing me one time, if they've been seeing me 20 times, if they've been seeing me 50 times, we always go back to that consultation room, because you never know what's changed in their lives, what's changed for what they want, what they're thinking. So I do a thorough consultation every single time, no matter how many times they've been there. You also want to use your client's first name no less than 3 times during their appointment. You want to do this when you walk up and meet your client. You want to do it during the consultation, and then when they leave the salon. You should always try to use their first name when you're also talking about retail products, because it's going to grab their attention back onto what you're saying. Because during your service, you should actually be talking about talking about your client and getting to know them. So you really want to grab their attention by saying, "Oh, Brenda, this is what I'm going to be putting in your hair today," and change that conversation over from them to what you're going to be using. And you should always use their first name, because that's what's going to build that rapport. That's what's going to help you also remember them. So always use their first name. And then as an added bonus, what I do in the salon, if you have some extra room on your mirror on the top, write the word welcome. And then under that, write your client's name. It works really great for a few different reasons. Your client's going to feel special. They're going to feel appreciated seeing their name in writing. You can say their name all day long, but when they see their name in writing, something magical happens, and they're like, "Oh, wow, you were waiting for me. Thank you." And then if you work with a salon and there's other people there, you have management, you have other stylists, it gives them the ability to where they can use your client's first name as well. And that looks way better on you when other people in that business or that salon can use your client's first name. But during the consultation, you want to make sure that you have eye contact. Eye contact equals listening. And we talked about that a little earlier. That's the second reason why stylists leave, or clients leave their stylist, is because they don't listen. So make sure you use eye contact, and you ask plenty of questions, not only about the service they're getting, but also what kind of lifestyle they have and stuff like that, because you want to know what kind of things they do if they have kids. Because if your client wants this elaborate hairstyle that's going to take 45 minutes just to do before they can leave the house, and they have 4 kids, they have to be at work in less than an hour after getting up, you probably don't want to suggest a high maintenance hairstyle. Or if they bring a high maintenance hairstyle in, you don't necessarily want to say, "Yeah, let's do this," just to make them happy, because ultimately they're going to hate you for saying, "Oh, why did you let me get this? I can't even do anything with it." And then you always want to repeat back what they've said to you, so they know that you understand what you're going to be doing. Now, during the shampoo, this is when you don't want to say a word, unless it's to answer the client's questions. And you want to make this brief, because this is essentially the time where you're getting your client in the mood. You don't want to try to sell them anything at this point, or even start a conversation. This time should be spent getting your client as relaxed as possible, because when a person is relaxed, they're more open to buy products, they're more open to hold a conversation, and they're more open to start building that trust. And that's what you're going for. Is everything is about trust in this relationship. And then during the service, this is the time that you really want to connect with your client, and the best way to do this is start off by asking them a conversation or asking them a question that's going to turn the conversation to them. And in fact, the first 3 visits, you shouldn't really talk much about yourself. You should really talk all about them and get to know them and who they are. When you actually just listen to someone, it builds a connection, and when you do that, it builds trust. And in people's mind, when you listen to them, they trust you, or else they wouldn't be saying what they're saying. There's been many a times, just in and out of the salon, when I personally would sit and meet somebody and we would talk, and I would just listen to them and listen to what they were saying, and eventually within 15, 20 minutes, they're like, I don't know why I'm telling you all this stuff. I just feel like I can trust you. I haven't really said much to them. I'm just being a good listener. So the same thing's going to happen in the salon. They're going to feel like they have a trust with you, and they can tell you stuff and tell you about their hair experiences and everything else. So when your client does, though, ask you a question about yourself, you just want to keep it really brief, and you want to redirect that question back to your client. When it's time to style your client's hair, this is when you want to completely do a 180 with the conversation, and you want to actually shift that from your client doing all the talking to you doing the talking, because you want to inform them of what products you're using, how you're going to style their hair, how they can recreate the look at home. And remember, number 3, they couldn't recreate that look at home. This is what you're doing there. You're reinforcing that, so they know how to do that at home whenever when they get home. So now, just say if a client's unhappy with the work you've done, you need to step back and be like, oh, instead of saying, oh man, I just worked so hard on this, and it just irritates you to no end, and you're like, just get out of my chair. You can't do that. What you want to do is you want to try to understand how they're feeling, and you want to work with them to resolve that issue, because if you exceed that client's needs, not only are they going to be a loyal customer to you, they're also going to go and tell all their friends about you. So now after that, you want to show the client the products that you've used. When your client's done with their service, you want to thank them for giving you the opportunity to do their service, and then you want to lead them to wherever your products are located in the salon if you sell products. You want to grab that product that you feel is the most needed for your client, and you want to place it in their hand. Then remind them how to use the product, and then you want to go back and talk about the other products you recommend. Now, you never want to take this product back from your client. Leave it in their hand. It's kind of like giving a child a toy and then immediately taking it away from them. They're like, oh, well, I guess I don't really need this then if they're taking it away. Or they're going to cry consistently because you took their product away. Either way. But no, you don't want to take it out of their hands, because then they think they don't need it. So if your client doesn't want to buy that product or any of the other products, they're just going to simply put them back where you got it from. And did you know that selling products is actually a sign of building trust? Your clients trust you enough to value your opinion on what's right for their hair. If your client buys one product from you, they'll be 25% more likely to return for their next visit. If your client buys 2 products from you, they'll be 45% more likely to return for their next visit. And if a client buys 3 products from you, they're going to jump up and be 83% more likely to return for their next service. 83% more. So just by offering products, showing them how it works, you can build your clientele just like that. And then now we're going to go on to pre-booking your clients. So when you pre-book your clients, it also builds trust and shows you're committed to keeping up the work that you've done. And when you pre-book your clients, you'll see them an average of 2 times more every year, which will increase your revenue. And that's what all this is about, is increasing your revenue. When you bring up the topic of pre-booking with your client, try to suggest an actual date instead of saying, oh, we'll see in about 4 months. We'd like to see, or 4 weeks, or 6 weeks, or 8 weeks. When you give an actual date, it's more concrete, and they'll be able to accept it a little easier than, oh, well, what's 6 weeks out, and they don't have to think. But if you say, oh, we need to see you again on May 23rd at 10 o'clock, it's more concrete for them. When I pre-book my clients, I use the same script every time. Like I mentioned before, I script everything because it makes it easier. So I just modify the dates and the times in my script, but I would say something like, once again, Brenda, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do your service. And I actually put the service name in, or what I did for you that day. I'm looking forward to seeing you again on the 23rd of May. What time works best for you? And depending on her reply, depends on where I go with my script. If Brenda says, oh, the same time works fine, or gives you another time, I'll go ahead and book it. And then I'll let her know that she'll be getting 3 reminders. And you're probably thinking, wow, 3 reminders? That's overkill. Well, no. Because what I do is I give them the first one 1 week before their appointment. This gives them a chance to change or change their appointment time, change their date, anything like that. If something comes up and they need to reschedule, they have plenty of time to do that, and I still have plenty of time to rebook that space. The second one will be sent 2 days before her appointment, and the third one will be sent 2 hours via text before the appointment. But now if Brenda responds with something to the effect of, oh, I'm not sure, I'll have to check my schedule and call you back, I'll respond by saying, would it be okay if I put you in for the same time as today's appointment? I tend to get booked up and would like to make sure that we have enough time to give you the proper attention that you need, and we don't go too far off track. If you find out your schedule won't allow you to come back that day or that time, we can easily reschedule you. You'll also receive a message 1 week before your appointment in case you need to reschedule. And at this point, if Brenda still doesn't want to pre-book her appointment, I don't get overly concerned with it. One of the reasons is she may need a few days, especially if she's a new client. She may need a few days to see what's really going on with her hair, if she likes her service, if she likes the products, everything like that. Ongoing communications with your clients is a powerful marketing strategy that will help you stand out from other stylists. And I can almost guarantee that very few stylists actually call their clients 3 or 4 days after their service to actually see what's going on with them, if their hairstyle is lasting, if it's something they like, if they're having any problems, anything like that. So in the case of Brenda or any other client for that matter, you want to give them a phone call. And let me repeat that. You want to give them a phone call, not a text, not an email, not a social media message. You want to make it as personal as possible. And when you contact that client, you want to find out how everything's going with their service. Are they having any issues, or do they have any questions? And you want to try to answer those questions to the best of your ability over the phone. And then if you feel that it would be better to answer those questions in the salon, or to go over anything style-wise or cut-wise where you need to bring them into the salon, at this point, try to get them in as soon as possible. And the appointment doesn't need to be long. It tops maybe 15-20 minutes. That way you're going to take care of their issue, and that's going to add value to your service and your brand. Now, if everything's great, this is a perfect time to pre-book that appointment if you haven't already done so. So we talked about pre-booking, and some people just don't do it, especially first-time clients. They just don't do it. They don't know how their style or how their hair is gonna maintain over the next couple days, so they don't want to jump in and commit to anything. So now this is the perfect time. If you haven't already pre-booked them, you can ask the client again, would you like to go ahead and schedule that next appointment? And give them an actual date and a time. And they're more than likely going to say, well, yes, I would love to do that. Now, if you get their voicemail, you definitely want to leave a message. Never just call and hang up and expect them to call you back, because they won't. So leave a voicemail and basically just say, hey, this is so-and-so from so-and-so salon. I was just wanting to check up on you and see how your service went. If you have any questions or anything, make sure to give them a contact number. And it's always a good idea to give them the option to text you. Because remember, it's all about them, and you want to do what's convenient for them. If they prefer to text you back, give them that option. If they prefer to social media you back on a certain platform, try to give them that option as well. But you're always keeping in contact. So I hope you found this podcast informative and helpful. And if this was your first time joining us, we empower hairstylists by providing advice on how to grow your salon business, along with tips and tricks that will save you time and make you more money. So be sure to subscribe to all of our channels. There are links in the description. Thank you again to SalonHelpWanted.com for sponsoring this podcast. And then on next week's podcast, we're going to be talking about habits of successful hairstylists and how you can double your income by changing a couple of bad habits. So thanks for listening to the Savvy Salon Professional Podcast. And until next week, keep doing what you love and loving what you do.